Welcome back to One Fair Review, everybody. I'm your host, Grant, the No Social Life Larson. Now, yes, I get it. You guys want me to review more serious anime. Well, today's not that day, but at least it's not a slice of life, rather a fantasy by the name of Endro. A show that its intro will be so catchy that you won't be able to hear anything. It reminds me a little bit of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. If you guys remember that show, it was a little show that came out not too long ago. It had one of the most catchiest intros. Anyways, getting back to Endro, let's talk about the story and then move on to the review. The simple story goes as follows. Noral Island, a continent in which swords and magic with humans and monsters coexist. A terrible demon king lives there. In ancient times, the first generation of heroes defeated the demon king. Over the many successive generations since then, the demon king has been resurrected and the hero who opposes him has likewise appeared. Girls attend a school for adventurers in order to defeat the Demon King when he appears again. Though a bit absent-minded, Yusha has the body of a hero. The holy elf Sela's troubles never end because she is too serious. The cheerful warrior Phi loves to eat. Mei is quite... okay. Otaku magician. What? This is a bad description of Mei. Okay, let's continue on. Alright. As the four girls aim to be in the hero party, they live relaxed fantasy lives and show no sign of defeating the Demon King no matter how much time passes. Starring Akao Hikaru as Charlotte Julia, Natsukawa Shina as Elroy Ciaran, Minase Inori as Endus Maisa, Ozawa Ari as Fai, Kuno Misaki as Mao, and lastly but not finally, Asakura Momo as Princess Rona. Alright, so now that you guys have a good understanding of what the story of Endro is, how is it? It's a very lighthearted story, surprisingly. And no, that is not a surprise, it is a joke. When I first saw this show, I knew that this was going to be a lighthearted show, especially by the people who made it. The studio, at least. The studio is named by the name of Gokumi. They're the ones responsible for many shows. They've really mastered their craft throughout the years. They've only done really girl shows, and when I mean girl shows, I mean these are the type of shows that you'll find it hard to find a man in it. And that's fine, I don't have any complaints about that, but in terms of the show, I thought the story was really effective at conveying, well, what it was trying to convey. Now, it doesn't really directly say, but this is more of a comedy than it is a serious show. The whole plot behind it is the Demon King, by the name of Mao, she goes back in time and still has her memories, and she ends up becoming a teacher at the adventure school that the four main heroes go to. And that's pretty much the story. Now, a little bit in the beginning, they do have it where Mao's trying to disband or hopefully take care of these heroes in a way where they won't be able to destroy her later on. But as the show progresses, she kind of gets comfortable in her life as the Demon King. And kind of like SSS Gridman, it kind of turns the other character into the main character. While Mao was a main character from the start, she definitely took more of a backseat to the four heroes. And speaking of the four heroes, I really liked all four of the girls. All of them were very, very funny, very engaging. Not one of them was irritating to me. I wasn't irritated by any of their personalities, which is a bit weird because they are a little bit too cheerful for my taste sometimes. But in this type of show, I don't mind it that much. I really love this show, especially because I watched this show actually after I watched A Silent Voice for the second time, and it was a great show to watch after that movie. It's very lighthearted, very fun, very adventurous, and the music in it really does accentuate the personality of the characters, which I know we're not in the music section yet, but this is one thing that needs to be mentioned. It is very lighthearted, and the music that goes on throughout the show really accentuates the personality of it. And this show is dripping with personality. It's dripping with fantasy love. It's dripping with lots of kind-hearted and just colorful characters. Like I said, the four characters, the main one being Yusha, or Julia Charletto. It's kind of weird how I'm having trouble pronouncing that, but yeah, that's her name. Yusha, the main hero, she's not complex as a character, and they kind of joke about that in the show as well. They ask her, why do you want to be a hero? And it's like, because it would be cool, and it's like, yeah, I guess that is what a little girl would kind of think. I don't know, no real deep meanings, and none of the characters really have a deep motivation except for Mao. All of them are very simple. All of them have their unique traits. Yusha wants to become a hero. Seran just wants to, well, she wants her dreams to exist and she wants to become a part of the adventure. That's really all there is to her, and she has a little bit of side plots with she wants her room to be clean and she's really messy. I really like that aspect about her because she's an elf. I got the joke. Good job, guys. Good writing there. She's an elf and she's messy. Fi was also very enjoyable. The fact that she ate all the time, it's not a unique trait to Fi, but I mean, it's a charming one. The one that I found to be more towards my liking was Mei. She was just a lot more interesting to all of them. She was just a collector, kind of like me. She just wants to collect every cardo, which is the form of magic in this world. And I thought that was an interesting characteristic for the most part. Again, none of these characters are really in-depth, or they don't really have backstories. They just kind of start. The show starts off just in the middle of everything, in the middle of a story that's already begun. And that's not a bad thing. I actually really enjoyed the story. There is an evolution throughout the show, which is something I always get worried about when I watch a more lighthearted show, that there won't be an evolution or something happens. It just sort of stops. No, this show has an ending, and it has a very satisfying ending. If anything, this is probably the show that had the most satisfying ending out of the ones that I've watched this season. Well, not all of them, but one of. Later on, this other character by the name of Princess Rona comes in, and she's just a fangirl over the hero, and she wants to meet the hero. She was also a very fun character. She doesn't play a huge role in the show, but she is there, and she does have her focused on certain episodes. She's a very nice character, really just sort of a damsel at times. That's all she really does, and then she just kind of loves everything that has to do with the hero's journey, and she's just a fangirl in the terms of the show. Like I said, all the characters are very simple. The story is very simple, and I really can't complain. That's really what I wanted to come out of this show. A lighthearted fantasy. This is a great show if you want a lighthearted fantasy story. Moving on to the presentation. The animation in this show is gorgeous. It is beyond gorgeous. Very watercolory, very bright, shining colors. It's beautiful to look at. I loved looking at this show all the time. Every time I watched it, every episode, it was a beautiful, engaging show to look at. The animation was just gorgeous, and I really loved the designs of the characters and the world around it. It's a really colorful, very warm-hearted show, which I feel like I say that a lot nowadays, but there's a lot of shows that are like that, so it is warranted here. This is a very warm-colored type of show. There's not going to be anything muted for the most part. They even got some very intense black color in there, so I really love the animation in this show. In terms of the soundtrack, like I said earlier, I love the soundtrack. It was absolutely outstanding, very catchy, very engaging, really has that personality to it, and that's what I love about this show. It has a big personality, and the music really accentuates that. The main opening is so catchy. I find myself humming it almost every day now. It's just that good. I won't be able to show you an example due to copyright reasons. Thank you, YouTube. But just know that it is a very catchy song, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the soundtrack. So overall, what would I have to say about the show? I have to say that the show is engaging. It's very comedic, it's very lighthearted, it's very heartwarming at times, but most importantly, it's comedic. It's a very funny show. It kept me laughing all the way through. There's a few serious moments, but none of them are serious to the point where it's like, okay, this is taken away from the tone. No, the tone is very consistent in its comedy, and all the characters are consistent in how they behave. My favorite character in the show would have to be Mao, because she was just really funny. It's funny, the concept that she's this demon king turned into a teacher trying to destroy the heroes, secretly, so then she can rise to power, but then eventually just kind of copes with it and just says, fuck it, let me just live in this world as a normal person. I really liked that concept behind her, and it was really enjoyable seeing the progression of her character throughout the show. And like I said, she kind of becomes the main character later on. In terms of the other characters, I really love the hero team. I found them to be very memorable, very distinct from each other. The voice acting was really good, and overall, I found the writing to be very impactful, and not impactful, but very strong between the characters. I found the writing to be really good. All the dialogue was very well done. It was just well done. Princess Rona was also a nice added touch to the show. She has her comedic moments, but she's obviously not as great as the other ones, but I did enjoy her character while she was on screen. Like I said, the music and the animation is very good. I really enjoyed the animation and the music. It all coped well with the characters and the story to bring life to this show and to really drench it with its personality and its lighthearted comedy, which is very, very, very fitting for this type of show. I really have to commend the studio for making the show. It's a terrific, fun show. I really don't have too many complaints about it, but it isn't all great. My final verdict would have to be a 9 out of 10. I really like this show. It's very comedic. I thought it was very funny all the time. Like I said, it's not perfect. There are some things in it that I'm not a big fan of, but those are more nitpicks. The animation overall, I thought was gorgeous. I love the music, the soundtrack, one of the more catchiest ones so far in this year, and the characters were all likable. So that's my final verdict, a 9 out of 10. If you guys have watched this show, please let me know down below. Have you watched it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you not care about it? Are you never going to watch it again? Let me know. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Thank you guys for joining me on One for a Review, and just a quick little update. I have gotten over my illness for the most part, but after this video, you won't be able to see another video for a little while. I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break, mainly because I've been sick, and by the looks of it, Alex is also getting sick. So we're going to be taking a little bit of a break, but our anime news, our anime Q&A will be coming out soon, and expect to see anime reviews coming out soon. Thank you guys for watching. As always, I've been Grant for One for Review, and I'll see you next time. As always, have a good day.